Good morning, everybody. How are you? Happy Friday. We made it to Friday. Hope that you're doing well. Hope that you're ready for the weekend. At least those of you that don't have to work or study this weekend. Really hope that you're doing well. Hope that you and your family are safe in this crazy world that we seem to be living in. So, really glad and really grateful that we get to spend some more time talking about data science, get more time to spend here with the community, and just see where people are at. Just see where people's conversations and thoughts and studies and everything else is at, right? That's the beauty of us being able to get together. We all get to talk about the different things that we're looking at with data science. And I think that's healthy, right? That's a healthy part of the process to share that with each other as scientists. So if you're new here, welcome. You are not alone. My channels are still growing across all platforms. So thank you for being here. Thank you for, taking the time to introduce yourself. We do what's known as our global roll call, where we ask people to let us know their city, state, province, country. It's a nice way for you to participate, practice being professional in the way you come into a group of people and whatnot. So it's a nice way for us to kind of get to know each other. I'm sorry, I'm going to set up one more thing on my end here for my Instagram folks. Why does that not want to go? Give me just a second here, guys. That is odd. I'm seeing a couple of comments over on my Instagram, but for some reason they're not showing up on my... Why is that having trouble? Sorry guys, give me just a second here. Is my Instagram feed okay? I think it should be, right? I'm showing that it's okay. Shashwat over on Instagram. Let me know if my feed is looking good to you. I see your comment. For some reason, I don't see it in my chat window. That's weird. Sorry guys, give me just one more second to try. That's weird. Instagram Live is acting up this morning. So sorry about that, guys. But if you're new here, you are welcome to introduce yourself. Let me know your city, state, province, country. Start filling up my chat. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know where you're at. Good way to build the community and see the global nature of data science. After that, I'd like to give an opening note where I just, kind of share any thoughts or anything that I want to get across to you. So I sometimes do that. I sometimes don't. And then after that, it's open for questions. I love the fact that you guys do such a great job of setting the agenda. I walk in here with little to no agenda. We just talk about whatever comes up. Yesterday we had a good discussion helping somebody on a project that they were working on. Had a lot of discussions about, data cleaning and NLP in general. So that's the kind of things that we like to do here. So let me know more about you and we'll kind of go from there. So Shashwat, thanks so much for that. I believe that it's your first time. So thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you. But anything we can help you with, Shashwat, let me know. We're open for questions once I finish up the introductions here. So going over to my other chat, Yassine, our good friend from Morocco, says, hello, sir. Yassine from Tangier, Morocco. How are you doing, Yassine? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope your studies are going well. I think it's obviously well, I don't know, Yassine, do you go to school on Saturdays? Some people have told us they go to school on Saturdays. Others have not. But I hope it's the end of the week for you. Let me know, Yassine. I don't think I've ever asked you that. Joseph, our good friend from Tennessee, says, good morning, Dennis. Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well. Today's not Thursday. Today's Friday. Uh-oh, Joseph's AI has gone bad. You guys see that? Joseph is secretly using an AI bot, and the AI bot thinks that today is Thursday. We're on to you, Joseph. You can't fool us. Denelson, our friend from LA, says, good morning, Dennis. Hope your day went well yesterday. Woke up to another day of dense fog. Oh, is that right? Oh, okay. Good to know, Dendelson. I'm going to be out your way in LA in a couple days. But yeah, everything went very well yesterday. Thank you. I went out for a walk with my dog. I actually went out walking to the grocery store with my dog. You know, not the grocery store. I went to Sam's Club, which is kind of like a grocery store. But I take my dog everywhere, guys, including like restaurants and hotels and things like that. So I needed to go to Sam's Club, pick up a couple things, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to take the dog with me and I'm going to walk there. So we walked to Sam's Club. We had a really nice walk. Beautiful day out yesterday. The hard part is coming back with all your stuff because I had to go prepared. I had to take an empty backpack with me. I had a couple extra bags in there with me. So I put my rotisserie chicken in my bag. And then I put all my other stuff in my backpack. I bought some avocados. I bought some hot dogs. I bought some chicken tenders. I put all that in my backpack. So I had to walk with the big old heavy backpack. I had my rotisserie chicken in my bag, my dog's leash in another hand. So it was a heck of a walk back, but it was a good way to get a workout. So it made for a good day. I hope you had a good day too, Denelson. Hope you and your family are well. But you know, it's gonna be a good day leading into a good weekend. Rex, our good friend from NYC, says good morning, everyone. Hey Rex, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Let us know how you're doing out there, Rex. I know you're doing some of your studies and all that, so hope you're doing well. Is it Zuni? Zuni on YouTube? Hey Zuni, how are you? Zuni, we always ask people to introduce themselves. Let us know your city, state, province, country. Nice, easy way to introduce yourself, okay? Joseph says you were not supposed to find out. We're on to you, Joseph. We're on to you. You know, speaking of which, I'm consistently looking at and being approached by companies who have like these avatars and the digital twins and the video generation. You know, using you, right? Using you, starting from your videos, using the video generation. I really wish that technology was further along because to me, it's not quite there yet. I think it's still a little jerky, a lot of the video, right? You can still kind of tell that it's fake, right? So I'm trying to kind of, you know, wait to see how that market fills out. I'm going to visit with some of the avatar companies or the digital twin companies at CES, see how advanced those are. And obviously the technology will advance, but I really do wish that there was more advanced bots out there because I think it'd be, you know, kind of cool to do that. So yeah, so Joseph, you need to work on your bot. If your bot doesn't know the day of the week, that's probably a little bit of a hole there in that you need to fix there. So Rex says, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Good, Rex. Glad to hear it. Yassine says, yes, sir. Formally, it's only when we have additional sessions, but it's almost always the case where, gosh, you guys go to class on Saturdays? I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm about that life. You know what? But who knows? Maybe I'm in the minority. Let me know in the chat if anybody else in the chat had to go to college classes on Saturdays. I did it when I was in high school because I took additional junior college classes. But my college didn't even have classes on Fridays. We only had classes Monday through Thursday. I went to a university, a big university here in the US, where it's very popular for students to work during their years because, you know, the school I went to is in Washington, D.C., you know, the middle of the U.S. power. So, or the center, I should say. So, it's very popular to get internships with law firms, with legislators, things like that. So the college intentionally didn't have classes on Fridays. So to go Friday and Saturday, I don't know about that. But let me know, guys. Did you guys go to class on Saturdays? Maybe some of you did. I could be in the minority. But let me know, guys. Okay, so our new friend Zuni says, I'm from Montreal, master student at University of Montreal in ML. What is that part? Is it Mila? Mila University of Montreal in machine learning. Very cool, very cool. Welcome, Zuni. I'm glad to have you here. Always good to have more Canadians. Canadians are good people. I loved working there when I was a little bit younger. When did I work there? I worked in Canada. I was living in Palm Springs at the time. So I think I lived in Canada. Excuse me, I worked in Canada. Well, I kind of lived in Canada. Maybe like 2006, 2005, something like that. So what is that? Geez, that's almost 20 years ago. Yeah, but love Canada. Canada's a beautiful country. Beautiful country, good people, good food up there. So welcome, Zuni. Glad you're here. Anything we can help you with, let us know. After we finish these introductions, it's basically open conversation for anybody to talk, ask questions or whatnot. I do have an article in mind for today, but sometimes, the conversation gets good and we never get to the article. So we'll just see where we end up, right? I love that aspect. Let me check over okay, so over on Instagram, we have one more. We have Blaze Bajir. Hello, I'm Mohammed from Nairobi, Kenya. Okay, cool. Thank you, Mohammed. Welcome. I'm pretty sure it's your first time. So let us know how things are going in Kenya. Thanks for the introduction. And anything we can help you with, just let us know, okay? So Zuni says no, never to going to college on Saturdays, which I think is common in most of North America. Because I have friends from Mexico, and I don't think Mexico goes to college on Saturdays either. So yeah, so North America, I'm pretty comfortable saying we just don't hear about it here. So Yassine says, I think it's just a matter of culture. When you've always been doing it that way, you don't even think about it. Wait, so you're saying you've even at before college, you have Saturday classes? Like, did you go like elementary school and all that? Like elementary school and high school, that was all Saturdays? Ugh, that's too much. That's too much. Denelson says, I also had Saturday classes, but only because I also took some junior college courses at a nearby institution. Yeah, okay, Denelson, I get that. I get that, and like I said, I did that in high school. In high school, I took different courses on Saturdays, and even at night sometimes. But yeah, I could see that. I mean, I know that some people do that. Just to get a different experience, get different instructors, get a different perspective, but it also saves a lot of money. At least here in the US, right, where college is very expensive. If you can find a junior college nearby where you can transfer the credits, then, you can kind of save yourself some money. I don't know if that's the reasons you did it, Denelson, but I know for some people, myself included, that's a popular route, because that way you can save yourself some classes and still be able to get, a degree from a 4-year college just a little bit cheaper. So Yassine says, yes, sir. Oh, wow. So that's a thing throughout all of schooling. Oh my gosh. That's too much. Too much. I don't know if I'm on board with that. I would have dropped out of school. In college, it was only morning on Saturdays. That's the best deal we had. Oh my gosh. Sorry to hear that, Yassine. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm about that life. All right, so Zuni's done with the introduction. Zuni wants to get down into the questions. You guys are welcome to answer questions. Before we do that, Blaze over on Instagram, or excuse me, Mohammed over on Instagram says, things are amazing in Kenya. Very cool. I'd love to visit Kenya. Kenya and South Africa are two more African countries that I'd love to visit. I'm sure that there are some pretty cool things going on in those countries. So I'd love to go there sometime. All right, so Zuni is done with the introductions. Zuni says, do you think a PhD is necessary for industry roles in machine learning engineering? No, I do not think they are necessary. I don't think they've been necessary for a while now. The time for PhD requirements in data science has come and gone. Maybe you could have said that was like, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. something like that. But it hasn't really been a requirement since then. It just hasn't. The irony is that a lot of these dedicated masters and machine learning, AI, whatever degrees have really only come along just quickly, recently. And they've come along just quickly enough where the people graduating with those degrees are finding that it's no longer necessary, right? So in a way, I think those people kind of got the short end of the stick. Because also keep in mind that when I'm saying, maybe you needed a PhD 8 years ago, it wasn't a data science or machine learning PhD. It was mostly a math PhD or like a physics PhD or something like that, right? Because the programs didn't exist back then. The master's programs didn't exist back then, right? They were just starting to come on board, right? So no, Zuni, I don't think it's necessary. It's even less necessary given the rise of AI, right? Because now there's very few things that the PhD brings to the table that can't be resolved with a combination of AI tools in a much shorter amount of time, right? So not only has the time passed because the software tools and the knowledge has gotten better, but it's also, and I mean that just by people itself, by the standard libraries itself, right? Those alone have gotten better, is what I'm saying, right? And then on top of that, in the last 2 years, right, generative AI has come to the forefront. So on top of that, it becomes even less important because even the most experienced professionals that don't have the PhDs can fill in the knowledge gaps with generative AI. Or you have people who are non-coders that are able to generate their own answers with generative AI, right? Finally, I want you guys to keep this in mind because, this isn't something I've shared a lot. But the reality is that when you get out into the workforce and you start looking at some of like the actual problems and questions that people will bring to you, they're not that difficult. They do not require a PhD level of knowledge for like the majority of the problems that you're going to face. They simply don't. I use a fraction of what I learned in my graduate studies, like a fraction of what I learned. What you really use more are the communication skills, the people management, the project management, the team leadership. I mean, you're going to use those like not even 10 times, but 50 times more than you're going to use like those nuanced things that you might learn in even in a master's program. So Zuni, I hope that gives you an idea. But if you've seen some of my other content, I know it's your first time here, but if you've seen some of my other content, I'm not big on the people that put an overemphasis on the math, put an overemphasis on the courses and make data science more complicated than it is, because it's really not that complex. You got to have skills, but they're not math skills. They're mostly people skills, right? Shashwat over on Instagram is asking an excellent question. Would love if you could shed light on the trajectory of data science in the current times. There are just so many tools and platforms, so many AI tools and platforms. Yeah, great question. So, more tools are coming. That's for sure. You will be expected to use more of the tools, right? I always say that the data scientists of the future will be heavily aided by AI. And you will be, and then third, you will be expected to work at a faster pace. But at the same time, it's a huge opportunity for you guys to be more creative and more create more exciting, more impactful solutions. The reason I say that is because, as I've said in some of my other content, from here on forward, right, there is no coding task that is closed to you. You can code anything you want, period. You're thinking of, oh my gosh, I don't know how to code that. That's really complex. I've never done. It doesn't matter anymore. You are able to code anything that you can imagine, right? So that should kind of help you open up your mind to say, oh, wait a minute, maybe I can do this. Or before I shied away from doing this, but now I can do it this way. Or, you know, I can have more scale, I can have more automation, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is that nothing is closed off to you anymore, right? ChatGPT or you know, a generative AI tool will write it for you. So that's how I see things, Shashwat. We as data scientists have to embrace the AI tools that are out there, because they're going to be used. They're going to be used, right? Companies already realize the benefits of it. But even if they don't, or even the ones that are slow to adopt, or the ones that are hesitant to it, you can't deny the time savings that AI gives you, right? On the time savings alone, everyone will want to adopt AI tools, right? So Sashwat, I hope that helps you. If not, let me know. If you have follow-ups, let me know, okay? Zuni says, sorry for skipping the introduction. I feel like the market is saturated, so maybe it's a good idea to specialize in a specific field of AI and focus in a particular industry with a PhD. Well, let's take a step back there, Zuni. Hey, Yusuf, I see you over on YouTube. Yusuf, we always ask people to introduce themselves, so let us know your city, state, province, country, okay? So Zuni, I can see why you would feel that the market is saturated, so you want to specialize in a specific field of AI. But, or a specific industry, as you say, right? But don't do that. That's level one. That's level one thinking, right? Level two thinking is, well, what I really want to do is I want to distinguish myself from other candidates, from other PhDs, other data scientists. And that's what you really are looking to do, right? So Zuni, I would tell you that don't specialize, still be a generalist, but work on the skills that other PhDs don't have, right? So I've hired, I've interviewed, I've hired, I've worked with, I've led many people with many degrees, including PhDs. And as I've mentioned before, you know, I talk to a lot of my friends that are directors, managing directors. I know their hiring patterns. They tell me their hiring challenges and stuff like that, right? People with PhDs are terrible communicators, right? I never, ever, ever put my PhDs in front of my stakeholders. Never let your PhDs talk in a meeting. Sorry, guys. I know I'm hurting some feelings saying that, but it's true. PhDs are terrible at understanding business impact, right? They're not business people. They're academics by nature. So they are usually not good business people. And if you're not a good business person, then it's really hard for you to say, hey, I developed this tool for you guys, and this is what it means for you on a business basis. Right? PhDs are terrible at that. And then 3, PhDs are terrible about coming up with their own ideas. Right? Because when you think about the first 2, right? They can't communicate, so that means nobody's talking to them. They're terrible at understanding business impact. So of course they're going to be terrible at saying, hey, wait a minute, if we did this, this, and this with that business and this workflow, I bet we could do this, right? PhDs are terrible at that. They either 1, they need to be told exactly what to do, or 2, they're theorists, right? PhDs are great at telling you what's going to happen in 30 years. They're not great at telling you what's going to happen in the next 3 months. That's just the nature of it. And again, you know, I know I'm hurting some feelings, but this is just the nature of how it is, right? So Zuni, that's what you really want to do, right? You want to be different than that. So I would tell you, add some business courses to your studies. Don't go adding NLP courses because you think you're going to out NLP the world, go out and take some business courses. Go out and take some public speaking courses, right? Work on your PowerPoint skills, right? By the way, everybody should work on their PowerPoint skills. PowerPoint is like critical in the corporate world, right? I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just telling you guys how it is, right? But that's what you're really trying to do, right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna be better than the NLP white papers out there? What's the likelihood of that? Right? Don't do that. I mean, focus on where you can gain more ground. Focus on your weaknesses, right? Because your weaknesses are also likely to be the other PhD's weaknesses, right? So that's the approach that I would take. Just kind of based on my experience, based on the people I've worked with, the other people that I speak with. I've shared this before, so some of my regulars are gonna know this. But I had dinner, with. I regularly go out and have conversations with my friends. My friends are all directors and managing directors at large places. I had dinner over the summer with one of them, and he told me that he gets master's graduates. He didn't tell me PhDs, but he definitely told me master's graduates that come to him. He probably doesn't hire PhDs, actually. And they don't know anything. He told me, he said, Dennis, I have master's graduates that come to me that I want to start as a first year analytics analyst. Like, they don't know the practical side of data science. Like, they're lost when it comes to saying, hey, it's your first day, go work on data. Like, they're lost. So Zuni, those are the types of things, those are the types of holes that you should be trying to fix, right? Because those are the holes that other PhDs have, right? So that's what I would recommend to you. Think about it that way, right? Like, the goal is the win is not to get deeper into AI. The win is to understand that AI is a people business, or data science is a people business. That's how you're going to win, right? Otherwise, it's just you're gonna be the best CV person on the planet. That's not likely, right? I mean, go with where you can win, right? Rex says, what would you say are the main things DS, ML, academia, especially graduate degrees, offer that would help people without an advanced academic degree work in industry? What do they... Wait, Rex, are you asking me to be positive about PhDs? I thought you knew me better than that, Rex. Rex, I thought we knew I thought we had an understanding. Rex, you're asking me to be positive about PhD? Seriously? Rex, you know me better than this. It's not your first rodeo, baby. You've been here before. If one of the other people had asked me that, okay. But Rex, come on. You're not a new guy. You know better than to ask me to be positive. Rex, I thought we were friends. Like, you shattered my understanding of our relationship, Rex. I thought we understood each other. Guys, I may have to shut down the stream. My reality has been shattered. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Rex says it's for the new people. Oh, stop it. Stop it. The new people should know that I'm down on PhDs. I just gave my PhD speech, Rex. Manoj says, greetings from Bangalore, India. Hey, Manoj, good to see you, my friend. Late, but here. Hey, the point is that you're here. Thank you, Manoj. Yusuf, welcome. Yusuf says, I'm Yusuf and I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I visited your previous live streams a while ago. Well, great. Welcome back, Yusuf. Always glad to have you back. Thanks for introducing yourself. So Yassine, Yusuf, I see your question. I'm going to come back to it, okay? I'm trying to keep some order here. Yassine says, sir, if you can please provide some insights on the difference between backwards looking and forward looking methods. Oof, that's a complex question, Yassine. Let me think about that one. Let me think about that one. I'm trying to think about if I want to answer that now or answer. Give me a couple of minutes to think about it, Yassine. If I don't come back to it, remind me, okay? But that's a complex topic. That could be a whole Sunday tutorial, actually. That would make a great topic for a Sunday tutorial. Let me think about it. Yusuf says, hello, what's your advice for new programmers that want to get into the tech field? Why? Yusuf, I always ask people why. Let me know your motivations for that. Do you not like programming? Or what's the impetus there to make the move? I'm curious, okay? Yusuf says it's 7:30 a.m. there, but 2:30 a.m. here. Oh my gosh, Yusuf, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate that. And you're right, it's pretty late in Australia. I was in Australia 2 years ago. I was there for Christmas. I was there this time of the year. And yeah, the timing in Australia is so difficult to keep up with any like Western sports or things like that. But yeah, glad you're here, Yusuf. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate that. Yassine says, okay, sir, let's keep it for this Sunday's tutorial if there's no plans for it already. No, there is a plan. So I know we have a lot of new people. So for those of you that are here first time, I stream Thursdays through Monday, and it's a similar format, just like here. I don't have an agenda. We just talk. But on Sundays, I tend to do a longer tutorial. That's where, you know, we get together and I tend to run it more like a classroom, and we talk about topics. More specifically, we usually do a series. You know, we've completed 2 full series now. One on the Introduction to Statistical Learning book, the other on creating a project from beginning to end. The first one was 8 parts. The second one was 11 parts. So they're pretty involved series, you know. We just finished the creating a data science project. So this Sunday, we're going to do like little individual tutorials. This Sunday's topic is going to be writing your own API. That's an important topic. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be interesting. If you've never written your own API, I think it'll be really cool. But that's what we're going to do on Sunday. So please feel free to join us for that. It's at the same time that you joined today. Okay. So Yassine, that's what I want to do Sunday, but let me think about your question a little bit more. Okay. It's a good question. You know that not a lot of questions make me stop and think. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. So Vic says, Vic is following up from yesterday. If you guys remember, Vic had approached us with some of the challenges he had on a project he's working on. Vic, it also sounded like you were fairly new to this job, maybe fairly new to your first data science job. So Vic says, hi Dennis, took your advice for the NLP part of the risk analysis project, doing proper project structure using Python scripts and exploring and working on the CSV files on the local machine. Thanks. All right, cool. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Always nice to see how things work out. You know, guys, it's always good to get a different perspective. You know, this is why I encourage everybody to kind of talk their things out with data scientists. You know, we have a Discord for that. You're welcome to join our Discord. Talk things out. Talk things out and say, hey, look, I'm up against this. I think I can get this out of it. This is how I want to go about it. What do you think? Oh, yeah, I like that, but I would go about it this way. Very healthy part of the scientific process, right? So, Vic, glad to hear that the discussion from yesterday, you know, maybe generated some new ideas for you. So, it also sounds like you're on your way to using Python, you know, what I call pure Python, right? Away from notebooks. That's a great advancement in your career. To me, that definitely shows a little bit of growing out of the I'm a student of data science versus I'm doing data science as a professional, right? So good for you, my friend. So Yusuf, our new friend from Melbourne, says, I'm studying software engineering in RMIT, and I want to gain practical coding skills outside of university. Okay, that's cool, but there's a lot of ways to do that, Yusuf. You don't have to do that with data science, right? You could be doing websites or something, right? So why data science? I'm curious. I'm curious about that. You could be doing, like traditional desktop apps, right? Or you could be doing like Swift development. Like, do you guys know how much Swift developers make? I mean, That's a good way to make an easy living, right? So let me know. Let me know. Rex says this Sunday. This Sunday, exciting, writing our own API in Java, right? Rex. Rex is off my Christmas card list, guys. You know, it's a good thing I haven't sent out my Christmas cards yet because I need to go and pull Rex's Christmas card out of there. Oh, Rex, I had such high hopes for us, Rex. 2025 was going to be a great year for us, so now that's all gone, Rex. Manoj says, sir, could you please give information about Central Research Institute's experienced candidates, how they can contribute to the corporate team? Manoj, I'm sorry, but I don't know that. Central Research Institute's experienced candidates? Sorry, Manoj, I don't understand. Like, are you talking about like just big universities in general, or is that a Central Research Institute like a particular school I should know about? Help me understand there, okay? So Vic says, I also informed my manager and shared the project zip. So far, no objections from his side. Fingers crossed. Okay, cool. So guys, let's take a meta view of what Vic is sharing with us here. So I know some of you weren't here yesterday. So yesterday, Vic shared, and Vic, feel free to correct me here because, you know, I'm doing this from memory. You just graduated in November. I think this is your first job. You graduated with a master's. I think this is your first job in data science, right? You just started, you know, I guess a few weeks ago, right? Because we're still in December. I think this is your first job in data science overall. So maybe this is like your first professional project. It was construction site accident data with a mix of numerical and text data. Both types of data had their problems and slang and you know, human entry errors, things like that, right? So that was the setup for yesterday. So the meta view that I think everyone can learn from is that, yeah, it's super intimidating to deliver your first results, right? It's super intimidating to say, oh my gosh, I'm working on, you know, live data and I just shipped some initial thoughts to my boss. What the heck, right? So totally get it. I remember that. Yes, it's my first job in data science. Joined the company on the 25th. Oh my gosh, that's just a couple days ago. On the 25th of November, you are correct. Great memory. Some things up here still work, you know. I know a lot of you guys think I'm crazy, you know, because I obviously have my biases, but you know, a couple things still work up here. I do all right. I get by. So I get it, right? Like it's your first like professional role and now you're like putting your work out there. And I actually have a video coming out about this in the new year. It's in my queue now. If you want to see the video ahead of time, you can see it with a membership on my channel. It's just $2.99 a month if you'd like to, you know, see the videos ahead of time. But it's one of those things. Two things I can promise you. One, it's one of those things that you can only get better at by doing, right? There's no substitute for actually putting your work out there. There's no other way to do it. There's no other way to do it but to do it, right? And two, I also promise you it gets easier with time. It gets easier with time because you're going to get more feedback. You're going to develop more skills. You're going to develop more skills, not just in the modeling and the work, but also in the publishing and the delivery of it, right? It's also a good opportunity for you to practice your communication and be able to say, hey, boss, I know that you asked me to do this, but I went ahead and did this, this, and this because I think that's the better route. Here's my rationale for choosing that, right? That's a very healthy process to go through from a professional growth perspective, right? Super healthy to do that. So I wish that I could give you guys a magic pill to make that easier, but you can't. The only way to do it is to actually get out there and push your work out there, right? But it's good. You'll learn, you'll survive, you'll learn, you'll iterate, but more importantly, you'll get away from being just a student of data science to actually being a professional doing data science. And that's a huge step forward, right? Really significant. And by the way, you don't need a job to do that. You can publish your own work. You can do your own studies, right? There's nothing stopping you from doing that. That's the beauty of data science, right? It's egalitarian that way. So I want to encourage all of you to start taking those steps, right? We see our friend Vic here who did that in his work, right? I mean, he just started there, like I said, a couple days ago, it seems like. But you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to put your stuff out there. And you got to be willing to say, hey, look, you're paying me to be your data professional. So here's what I think. Here's my rationale for that thinking. And this is what I think is the best way forward. You have to be able to kind of assert yourself in that way, right? To have that confidence. You're going to get that confidence by practicing, by actually doing more projects, by doing more stuff on your own. Not everything has to be spoon-fed to you via a contest or via a professor or via me or some ridiculous Coursera course or stuff like that, right? Just get out there and do the work and publish the work, and it'll get easier. It'll get easier with time, but more importantly, it'll also turn you more into a professional, right? So I want you guys to think about that, okay? Really important progression in your work. Vic says, before my master's, I worked in an IT service-based company for 2.5 years, data migration projects from on-prem servers to OneDrive and SharePoint. Okay, that's interesting. Data migration projects from on-prem to OneDrive and SharePoint. Okay. Good for you. I mean, I don't know if that sounds like the most exciting work in the world, but I think you're on the right track there with the approach you're taking now with data science and putting your work out there to your bosses. So good luck with that, Vic. All right. So Manoj says, yes, researchers. To my previous question, Manoj is asking about what is the best way to use those types of candidates. So Manoj, you're basically asking the same question that Rex did about like the positives of working with PhDs or like heavily academic people, right? You're essentially asking the same question. So it's a combination of answers that I could give you, right? But it basically comes down to one thing: stay in your lane, right? If you're going to be a PhD, stepping into a corporate role or, kind of going from academia to like the workforce, stay in your lane, right? What are you good at? You're good at research and you're good at procedural steps, usually, right? So that's how I usually approach my PhDs that work for me. I give them very focused tasks, right? Very focused, very procedural, very specific tasks to take on. It's kind of like, I asked them to write a white paper without actually writing it. I just ask him to do like the work of it, right? But the reason I say I could give you multiple answers is because if you think about the answer I just gave you, that's dependent on very good leadership. Because when I tell you that's how I use my PhDs, that means that a lot of the work is on me to take an entire project, all the stakeholder conversations, all the PowerPoints, everything else, and break it down, say, hey, PhD, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, not A, B, and C, and then go back and revisit and do this other portion here. Right? Like I have to be able to like be the architect there and say, this is what I need you to do and only this, right? So that's what I would tell you, Manoj, that, stay in your lane, focus on what you're good at, but you're going to need help along the way. You're going to need good leadership along the way that can help you and say, hey, don't worry about coming to the stakeholder meeting, go ahead and take a long lunch, right? Because you're going to need the leadership to handle that for you while you focus on, whatever it is, like the deep dive into a problem, into a neural network, into whatever, right? So that's what I would tell you, that, the PhDs are good at that. And that's how I try to use them. I try to keep them very, very focused and on task, or not necessarily on task, because on task makes it sound like they're irresponsible, which they're usually not. But I like to just keep them focused on not the entire project, but specific parts of the project. So I hope that makes sense. I hope, Rex, that also helps answer your question. But that's how I use PhDs best, and that's how I think most PhDs thrive better in the corporate environment, right? And you're going to need that for like 2, 3, 4 years or whatever until you get more of the business understanding from a hands-on nature, right? From being like in the environment, right? But that's what I would do. So I never asked them to speak in meetings. I never asked them to prepare slides because they're usually terrible at that. Just very, very focused tasks. If you have a very heavy academic research background, then go and do that at a corporate environment. Don't go start trying to run meetings and lead teams, because that's not what you've been doing. Stay in your lane, right? So that's what I would say. Again, I understand some people might get butthurt over that, but it's the truth, right? Play to your skills. Vic says, it really was boring except for the SQL involved. Really wanted to switch to data science. Yeah, data migration, not very exciting. SharePoint, kind of exciting depending on what you're doing with it. Many years ago, I was a SharePoint administrator for a very, very large company. That was kind of cool, but that was also because it was cool because I was talking to a lot of people, training a lot of people. But yeah. Manoj says, LOL. I'm just saying. If you're an academic and you've been doing research and theoretical stuff and following, process for the last 6 years, don't go off and try to lead a small team of data scientists at a startup. Like that's not your strengths, my guy. That's all I'm saying, right? Like, this isn't difficult, guys. It's just that, people don't want to stay in their lane, right? But I'm just sharing my experience with you guys, right? Like I said, I've read many resumes, I've interviewed, I've hired, all of these, PhD guys. I've led these guys. Let them do what they do best. They are not best at standing in front of a room of stakeholders and explaining their work. So don't do that, right? That's all I'm saying. I've said this before, like the PhD guy is the guy you leave in the team room. Oh, you know what? You're busy. You don't have to worry about this meeting with, you don't have to bother yourself with that. Go ahead and stay here. You know what? It's my fault that I scheduled it during your lunch. I'm so sorry. Go ahead and take your lunch. We'll take care of the meeting. Don't you worry about that. Just, you gotta play to their strengths, right? So just stay in your lane, PhDs, okay? Okay, so Rex, are you happy? I gave you an answer there, Rex. You happy now, Rex? You're still off the Christmas card list, but are you happy now? I hate that I have to keep on drinking out of this bottle, but I forgot my cup in the other room. But anyways, I get really thirsty during these. Uh, Rex says, OMG, LL. Well, that's a funny way to say thank you, Rex. I answered your questions. Jeez. Oh, man. All right, guys. So please remember that on Sunday, we're going to have our tutorial. Really looking forward to that. Yassine says, don't worry about the meeting. You're busy. You gotta know how to run your meetings best, guys. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know, you leave the PhDs in the team room, you go off and have your meetings, and then you come back and you interpret everything you learned or everything you need the team to do. And then you say, okay, I need you to do this, this, and this, right? I'm just sharing my experience, guys. This is how I've had successful working relationships with people of, you know, various degrees like that, right? All right, so Sunday, 1500 GMT. I'm also streaming tomorrow, by the way, right? I stream Thursdays through Mondays, but Sunday, you definitely don't want to miss. We're going to be writing an API, and we'll see where that series or where that tutorial ends up. That won't be a series. That'll be a one-time thing. And if you ever miss one of my streams, you can always find it on YouTube. I keep the replays up, and you know, I never delete anything there, but you can always find the live replays up there. All right. But guys, thank you so much for the questions. Really good conversation. Really happy to see some of you progressing along in your careers. And again, if you do want to support my channel, please consider a subscription. It's just $3 a month. It lets you see the videos ahead of time. Right now, I have videos scheduled out all the way till February, I believe. So my members get access to those. And also, like I said, it helps support the channel, helps support me. So I appreciate that. All right, guys. So as always, lots of funny things happening in the world. So please, you know, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I'll see you next time.